Well, this is Jakey and John, I guess our grandfather, and the three kids, Mom, Doodah, and Uncle Bubba. I'm thinking this was about 1941. I'm guessing at that. You might know better. This is one of our early family, quote unquote, pictures. That's me, and I'm guessing I'm about a year old. I was born in 48, so I'm thinking this is about 49. About 1952. I don't know who the little girl is with me, but this was in the backyard at Shady Oak. This is about 1953. 1954, Charlene and me, and then there's one of just Charlene. 55 or 56, background sign says Channel 4, so this isn't in Memphis. I don't know where it is. These were taken sometime between 58 and 63 on Benton 2076, which is the first house we lived in. 1928 was the second house that they bought. I'm not sure when this was taken, and I'm not sure if it was 2076 or 1928, but I think it was 2076 Benton. This was a year, 63, that we went to Camp Ganderbrook, Charlene and I, and Mother paid the camp to let me work there, quote unquote. This guy was, I cannot remember his name, but he was my best friend while I was at camp. Charlene may remember him, I don't know, but I broke my thumb that summer playing softball. This is Cecil 3 and Pam Kim. And this was a Marine, a Marine picture from David. This is Susan and I. I don't know who the baby is, but I'm pretty sure it's a niece or nephew. That's Winnie on the steps at 1928 Benton. Then this was Table Rock Lake, one of our vacations there. And I think it was about 67. And Daddy May under the mistletoe. Pam and Kim. And there's Louine and Susan. I'm not sure who that is standing behind Louine. Mother and Daddy May and Rachel. This was before her stroke. And there's Bill and Racine with Daddy May. I don't recognize the person on the far left. And this was also at 1928 Benton, Charlie and Dave visiting with Mark and Matt, and Granny and Shane. And there's Mike, Mark, and Matt, and Rachel with Granny reading a story. Jim and Bill, and I think that's Paul over on the left. Rachel and Mark May. Racine, and this was also at 1928 Benton, Christmas. Sally and Susan Crichton at Granny's house, again at Christmas time. There's Susan and Rachel, and Susan and Shane. Shane was born in 73. Susan Watson and Rachel and Mark May. There's Mother, Daddy May, Susan, Rachel, and Shane. And there's Granny and Daddy May and Rachel at our house on Meadowbrook in Little Rock. And there I am listening to music, and Shane is sitting on me while I do that. And then Shane did a box of baby powder. I don't know what the occasion was for this particular gathering, and I'm not sure where this is. If I don't recognize the house, it may be one of Louine's houses. There's Shane and Granny, and Susan pregnant with Heather. And this was, I think, the occasion was Sally's wedding, that we were all there together. And I don't know this occasion. I don't know if it was an anniversary or what, but there's pictures of my kids on the table. There's John. I think it's about 1976. Louine, you'd know better. Granny. Here's Daddy May and Shane, and Granny and Rachel, and Heather. It's Rachel's birthday. There's Winnie and Richard on the steps at Granny's house. There's Tim Woodruff and Betty May. Daddy May and Shane. There's Jim. And Rachel and Granny. John, Rachel, and Beth Woodruff at Granny's house. Tim. David. John, Rachel, and Amy, or Beth as she was known at that time, and Daddy May. And there's Jim again. And there's Tim and Louine. Again, it's Christmas time. Most of the pictures I have of, or at least a lot of them, were taken at Christmas at Granny's house. That's when we were all together. Here's Bill Kreitz. Bill Jr. There's Heather sitting on the step in Evansville. I used to call her Button. That was her nickname. And that's her again sitting on that's our house on the left there. That's the front steps of the house in Evansville. There's Jim and Louine. I believe this must be at y'all's house in Searcy, one of your houses in Searcy. And this was in Texas, visiting Maxine. And Shane and Rachel and our father. This was in Grenada, Mississippi. Grace was his second wife. She was really a nice person. And I don't know what she saw in him, but not my call. Daddy May and Granny. Jim and Louine. Charlene and Susan. Susan's picture was taken at Dad's house in Mississippi. There's John and Susan. And Jim again, catching flies. Beth, or Amy, excuse me. Here's Daddy May and Granny, and Matt May. There's the Woodruff family from 1978. Here's Cecil Jr. Don't have many pictures of Cecil. One of the few. And there's Daddy May and Granny and Tricia. Shane used to like to watch Happy Days, and he emulated Fonz. Daddy May made a visit to Midwestern Children's Home. That's where we were at the time, and he was holding me down, letting the kids spank me. Picture of Rachel and Daddy May, and Rachel gave this picture back to Daddy May. She wanted him to have it. This is David and Charlene and their kids, Matt, Mike, Matt, and Mark, and Daddy May. There's Mark, 1980. Guess he was a Cowboys fan. And Maxine, and Tricia, Pam and Kim, and Susan. There's Mike May. There's Shelley Kreitz, and I think she's holding Katie Watson. Zach Hawley. There's just some scenes from Haven that I took in black and white several years ago. That's the main street. And there's the hardware store. Looking back the other way, that's toward 96. This is in Yoder, Amish country. That's just outside the Yoder lumber. That's Rachel at Meadowbrook. Meadowbrook Rehab Hospital. Susan and Heather, we were at a company picnic, but I kind of liked that. I liked the way she looked. There's the David and Charlene clan. There's Pam, and Charlene Green was one of our kids from Midwestern. Bill and Anita's wedding in Colorado. There's Bill and Anita, Racine, most of the Kreitz clan. There's Susan and Maxine. I don't know if you remember it or not. Bill asked me to do that wedding for them, and I did. Heather was the flower girl, and Shane was the ring bearer. This is Fall Festival in Haven. This was Heather was in Girl Scout or Brownies, and this was an outing, and we were just sitting on the ground and looking at the schedule, and they came and took our picture without us realizing it, and then it was in the paper. Pit was a game we used to love to play. It's real chaotic and loud, but easy to play. It's a lot of fun. Still playing Pit, but you can see a lot of the Kreitz clans there. We met Bob and Elizabeth Dole at the State Fair in Hutchinson, and they were gracious enough to let us take a good picture. Rachel when she was 15. This is 2 years before the accident. This is in Kansas, but I'm not sure where this is, what restaurant that was, but I'm guessing it was Yoder Cafe. This is Racine at Racine's house. That's the car that Rachel was in. It's not a very good picture, but it's the only one I have of the car. This is at Meadowbrook. A lot of people came and visited. I'm not sure who the baby is. And I'm not sure why we were all there, but there was a whole bunch of family there. Maybe it was her birthday, or I'm just not sure. And this is back in Kansas at Racine's house. Having Christmas dinner, playing cards. Here's Jennifer May, and I think that's Luke Watson with her. Paul and I think Matt, Charlene, and I'm not sure who else that is. And I'm not sure who those are. This was a picture taken in Boston, somewhere in Boston, but when we visited Jim and Louine. So maybe Louine will recognize those people. This is on the campus at Harvard, Emerson Hall. And that's on the Constitution on the left there with Susan on the Constitution. And I don't remember us taking a carriage ride, but it was just a picture of a carriage. And we ate at this Union Oyster House. And as you see there, there's a plaque that says that was JFK's favorite booth. Shane's 8th grade graduation. It was a big event. This is in the back room in our house in Haven, that big room in the back. Charlene and Rachel at Meadowbrook. Thanksgiving, we're at our house. And again, Dave and Charlene and their family were there. There's Dave, Holly, Rosalind. They don't have too many pictures of Rosalind. And even some of Susan's family, her brother-in-law and sister were there. This is from the family reunion. And these were snapshots I took from some video that I took during the reunion. But I don't have any pictures really of Aunt Cat and Doodah. So that was nice to have that. There's Johnny, Diane's husband. Maxine and Susan. And there's Nancy and Albert doing their little thing. There's Pam. And if you recall, we had a talent contest. That's what Nancy and Albert were doing. Paul and Rachel. There's Uncle Bubba. Don't have many pictures of him. Sally. There's Scott. And Shane. And Shelley. Susan. Carol. And Susan McGee. Susan Watson. And Sally. There's Tricia Carroll. And Trudy Kreitz, Paul's wife. Zachary Holly. Family picture of us on the left, and then me and Racine on the right. I believe that was taken at her house. This is Rachel's senior picture and junior senior prom. And I took her to the prom. That's her date, quote unquote. And after graduation, after Shane's graduation, he went right into boot camp. We had an exchange student with us at that time. Heather graduates from Oklahoma Christian, 97. This is my 50th birthday in 1998. Dave and Charlene and Maxine came up for that weekend. And then Shane and Manu got married in Washington State and the Seattle area. And Heather and Greg got married. And everybody came for that. You see Winnie, and that's standing beside Winnie was Carrie Fisbeck, Greg's mother. There's Susan and Mark again. This was in Minnesota. I think it was at least some of that was in Mark's house at the time, and Mike's house, both. Then we had a gathering for Bill's funeral. There's David snoozing. That's Pam. There's Bill and Anita Crides, Bill Jr., Diane and Nancy. There's Pam and Debbie, and I guess Rachel. There's Greg Fisbeck and Paul Kreitz on the right. There's John, Beverly, and Louie. I think that's Shelley with Maxine and Charlene. That's Dave Kurt, Dave May, us. The Mays came for a visit in Michigan. This was our house on Evergreen. Alex enjoyed driving the tractor. Mike and Diane were also with them. Susan put these shutters together, and Diane painted a scene on them. It was very, very nice. 2002 is when Will was born. That's in the Fisbeck's house kitchen. There's Will, dressed up like a clown, and Susan. I put too many pictures in here of Will, but he was special to me. And then Luke and Amanda got married. This is in the hotel room. There's David. I'm not sure what restaurant they were in. And there's Charlene was helping me with barbecue. She's always helping somebody with something, aren't you? The ceremony, Dave and Charlene, Maxie behind them. And that's right in the center is Will and Paul and Trudy's son. I think his name is David. I can't remember now. Luke and Amanda. And then this is some pictures from our Alaska cruise. That was the year that we were all supposed to go. As it turns out, I couldn't get off when y'all were going, so we went the week before to Alaska. Really enjoyed that cruise. I wouldn't mind doing it again someday. And then there was a reunion in Searcy that same year, I believe, 2005. Again, you can correct me if I have the dates wrong. This was in the gym at the Harding Academy. There's pictures of Ricky in there. I don't have too many of him. David and Ricky and Charlene. Well, this is at a ball game where Caleb, quarterback. They were having a stellar year. The Wildcats were. And this was, I can't remember what it was, a play or something. We were in the auditorium at the college watching something. We were all up in the balcony. And Racine's funeral in 2005. Uncle Bubba was there. That's Dave Hawley, Uncle Bubba and the line. Diane with Jim and Diane. And the guy on the left, his name escapes me, but he was a member of the church there in Haven. And there's Zach Hawley. The lady with Rachel has died this year, but she was very special. Went with Rachel to school, helped her through that when she went back into school. The guy with Susan there in that picture, he was the preacher at Haven. And then we had Thanksgiving, went to Searcy, but went to Heber Springs, and Jim and Louie and Maxine came up, visited. This was the 4th of July in 2006, where we also, ice cream at Kilman's, but we also went to a concert. These pictures from that. The symphony played. They had a concert, and then at night, fireworks, and played 1812 Overture during the fireworks. We had a lot of food, and we did some barbecue, had some ribs. Charlene with her fireworks. That's at our house on Evergreen in the harbor, and on the deck outside. That's Sarah and Maxine. Sarah spent the summer with us and worked at the restaurant. And we went down to the beach. Mike and Diane, Dave and Charlene. This is on the deck as well. Subby's is one of our favorite restaurants. I don't remember why we happened to all be in Oklahoma City, but and met at Cracker Barrel to eat. 2007, we took took Will on a train trip, took Amtrak to St. Paul, and that's Will and David, little David on the left, Charlene and David, Charlene and Will. Jerevic's was one of our favorite places to visit. Kind of a quaint little place. It's no longer there, but had good pastries and pleasant atmosphere just to sit and talk. There's Rachel and Will with Charlene, Matt and David. There's Diane. So we're celebrating her birthday. I visited Dudai just not long before he died, and some of those are, that picture of the house is a picture of a painting, actually, of the house. I bought my motorcycle in 2009. That's Will on the back of it. There's Maglie and Libby. We went to Minnesota for Rachel's 40th birthday because she likes to shop. And we all got terribly sick, but survived. Now this is at, I don't know if it was Ruby Tuesdays or something like that, restaurant that we went to for Rachel's birthday dinner. Then we had an Easter egg hunt at Charlene's house, Charlene Dave's house. Mike was real excited about that. Time for the hunt. They're all standing at the door waiting to be let loose. There's Maggie Lee finding some eggs and Libby on the right. These are our good friends, Lee and Becky Faust, known for years and years, and they came up to visit in 2013. Louie knows them. This was at University of Chicago Hospital. They looked over her medical records and pretty much validated that the treatment she had received was the right thing to do. They really didn't have anything else to offer in terms of doing something different or better or whatever.
Are you tired?
So we left just after this. This was in December of 2013. We left for Haiti, and Susan died just over a month later. So January of 2014, we had her funeral service. Later on that year, I think it was around November, December, but later in the year, Cecil was invited to preach at Levi Church of Christ. We all went there. Family picture. I think it's in one of the lobby areas or hallway or something of the Levi Church. You probably recognize most of those faces. The donut shop there in Searcy was one of our favorite places to go, and the lady that owns it is really friends with Jim and Louie. And it was a themed wedding, I guess Victorian or something like that. The wedding cake on the right. I didn't really have a good picture of the ceremony itself. 2016, I went down to Florida, and on the way back, Charlene came back with me. She flew down to Florida and then rode back with me and got to meet Wanda for the first time. And we got married in May of 2016. Those are Wanda's kids, Bethany and David in the upper left, and then on the right, Jennifer and Eric and Joshua and Rebecca. And then Jim's service. I don't really have any pictures of his service, so these are just some pictures that I have of him, and just put this collage together. I like that picture with his thumbs up. Then Charlene and Dave went to the Holy Lands and had a really fabulous time. And I went on a motorcycle trip to ride through. There were 5 states I had not ridden through yet. One of those was North Dakota. So on the way to North Dakota, I went through St. Paul and stopped and spent a couple of days there. We went to the Como Park Zoo with Cordell and Mick and baby Phoenix. And then we watched Rachel play softball. had dinner one evening at Mickey's Diner. It's an iconic restaurant. I don't remember the name of this restaurant, but I wanted a Juicy Lucy and some cheese curds, and they had some great food there. On the way back from Florida in 2019, we visited Maxine again. And then in November 2019, Maxine passed away. And this is pictures from that gathering. There's McCoy girls. And there were several nice pictures of the Woodruff family. I'm not sure who took these. I don't. They look too good for me to have taken them. Yeah, Rachel, smile. Here's Kim, Trisha, or maybe that was Stacy. And then there were three. I think looking at that must be Jim's grave. Then we were all at David and Debbie's house and had leftovers, I think, from the meal at church that we ate at barbecue and whatnot. Really good. That's it.